Hello and welcome to Designer Market Update. This is a parking lot edition. I'm taking a look at Bitcoin price action as the day draws to a close. I'm impressed by the fact that Bitcoin's actually up, despite the fact that the Fed appears to be signaling that no further interest rate, cuts are seemingly imminent. Now, typically, and in the past, I think I've noticed, right? I think you've noticed this as well, that Bitcoin will trade sort of in sympathy with a lot of tech stocks and just kind of take a nosedive. Today, it's not doing that. I think that's really, really important because ultimately, to the extent inflation is going to be a factor, we want to see Bitcoin go up, not take a nosedive like a tech stock. We want it to actually perform as a store of value, as a safe haven, right? To the extent inflation is going to remain elevated or is perhaps not yet fully under control, that arguably should be bullish for Bitcoin. So I am very encouraged by what I'm seeing in the markets today. I did see that shares of Bitfarms were up a little bit today. And generally speaking, the Bitcoin mining sector, all in all, didn't do so poorly today, right? Now, as it relates specifically to Bitfarms, I know we've been really, really focusing in on them lately. I get it. I took a look at some of the comments posted to Ben, meaning Ben Gagnon, the CEO of Bitfarms, to his post on X related to yesterday's announcement. And the commentary, to say the least, was generally scathing. And I get it. Like, I do get where all of this deep frustration comes from. Some people are asking, hey, when the heck are we going to get to where the heck we should have been at the end of last year? Hey, you're talking about HPC AI compute. Wait, what about Bitcoin mining? Are we ever going to fill out our hash rate? Hey, we're getting rid of this Paraguay site. That's going to diminish hash rate. I mean, is there anything that's going to fill it? It seems like we're going backwards. What's really going on? This perception of broken promises and not really, sort of like staying true to what has been signaled, right? So I think it's going to be time for us to maybe dig into that a little bit more. Again, I like the idea of cutting Ben a lot of slack. He's only been on the job a little over 6 months. It can be very challenging sometimes, right, to sort of operate in a highly dynamic environment, a highly dynamic industry that's constantly changing. Sometimes it can be really tough to say, hey, we're going to make a 5-year plan when in the next 5 weeks you can have transformative change within your industry that requires a different response, right? And a different strategy to adapt to that new environment. I'm still optimistic. I'm still positive on Bitfarms, but I do want to acknowledge that a lot of people are calling it shit farms. Okay, that's not a phrase I came up with. That has seemingly been in existence for quite some time, and there is deep frustration out there. And so it's not about being a downer or being negative about things. I do think that from this point going forward, I mean, look, let's just keep it real, right? I mean, how much further can Bitfarms fall, right? Well, nobody can really guarantee or predict that, but I'm inclined to think that the bottom is probably close to being in, if it isn't in already, and that from this point going forward, it's just going to be, a slow but steady uptrend. Yes, it's going to be critical that milestones be reached. Yes, it's going to be critical that there be execution. It's going to be even more important that we see the price of Bitcoin cooperate and that hash prices come back. Right? We can't have Bitcoin going back to 70,000 because the Fed is going to pause interest rates from being dropped, right? And have Bitcoin act like a tech stock instead of a so-called store of value, right? We can't have that happening and expect to see Bitfarms doing really well. But as somebody else pointed out, Bitfarms was essentially up almost like 100% from where it's at now when Bitcoin was at like $40,000 or $50,000 a coin. So it's like, what the hell's going on, right? Bitcoin has practically doubled and Bitfarms has essentially been cut in half, it seems. So is the concern warranted, or is it something that we need to just kind of look through and really focus on the future? Okay, we're going to have to dig into it more, okay? And again, I know this is a bit of a, like I said, a parking lot edition, but man, I'm just so grateful to see that Bitcoin is holding up really, really well on a day where I would have otherwise anticipated and expected Bitcoin to just, plunge pretty badly. So don't want to jinx anything. Let's see if Bitcoin can hold steady. I like what I'm seeing. So let's stay positive. Let's be great. And we'll see each other again tomorrow.